Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Jammin' Music Man. Welcome to my first video of 2016, and I'm hitting you guys up with an album review. And what album am I going to be reviewing? I'm going to be reviewing Talking Heads' Fear of Music, where I'm going to be reviewing the track listings, the feel of the album, and whether or not I recommend you picking up the album or not. But first off, let's talk about just who were Talking Heads. Well, Talking Heads were some art students that put a band together in the mid-70s, and they got their start at the legendary New York club CBGB's, of course, home of American punk rock like the Ramones, Blondie, Television, Dead Boys. They all got their start at CBGB's. But this album was released in 1979. They released two other albums, so this was the third album at this point in their careers, and they teamed up with legendary producer Brian Eno. And if you don't know who Brian Eno is, Brian Eno played with Roxy Music, and he helped produce a lot of legendary classic albums like David Bowie's Heroes. But they teamed up with Brian Eno, and it was around this time during the recording they had a big hit with Take Me to the River, which was a cover of Al Green, Take Me to the River. But maybe some of you might remember about 15 years ago, back in the year 2000, Billy Bass, when you walk past Billy Bass, he was singing Take Me to the River. Well, the Talking Heads, they had a hit with that song. But during the recording, like I said, they teamed up with Brian Eno, and basically 1979, we're talking about, you know, disco was at the top of the charts, new wave was big at that time, punk rock was also big at that time. Also, another thing, just a little side fact, I don't consider Talking Heads punk rock. I always have considered them more new wave alternative, but that's a different story. But basically, you know, a lot of the themes you get with this album, you get tracks that you can dance to. You know, if you know Talking Heads, they're very eclectic. You could be dancing to a Talking Heads song and not really know what they're singing about or what they're talking about. But you get great tracks on this album, like I said. But the themes you find on there are, you get an African disco-y type song on here. You get songs protesting about air. I don't know. David Byrne, you know, he's kind of a weird, kooky kind of guy. You get songs about electric guitars and drugs. But let me give you the track listings. Track number one, like I was telling you guys, it's called Izimba, which is the African rhythmic disco-y type song on the album. Great track. I don't know what they're singing. I guess they're singing in African, but great track, great opener. Number two is Mine. Very dark, disturbing type song with great synth effects. Number three is Paper. Another great dark song. Number four is Cities. Number five is Life During Wartime, which was the big hit single off this album. And there's a line in the song, David Byrne says, "This ain't no mud club, this ain't no CBGB's. This ain't no disco." For some of you out there, the Mud Club, it was like a Studio 54 type light club, and CBGB's was, you know, the home of punk rock. But Life During Wartime, probably the big hit single off this album. Number six, Memories Can't Wait. Number seven, Air. Like I was telling you earlier, Air is the protest song on this album, which is basically David Byrne thinks we're taking up too much air in the atmosphere. I don't know. Number 9, Animals. Number 10, Electric Guitar. Electric Guitar, one of my favorite albums, favorite songs off this album, I'm sorry. And number 11, Drugs. Need I say more? But you get 11 tracks in all for Talking Heads' Fear of Music, the third album produced by Brian Eno and Talking Heads. It says it on the back. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this album review. But if you're interested in wanting to pick this album up, I picked this album up at my local Barnes & Noble for $4.99. And I also picked up some other great classic albums for you that I'm going to review for you at a later date and time. But $4.99. Also saw some other great classic albums for $7.99. Great stuff at Barnes & Noble. 10 years ago, Best Buy used to be my music hotspot. Best Buy back then had a lot of great classic rare albums that you couldn't find at like your local Walmart or Target. But Best Buy's just really gone, downhill in the past few years. But Barnes & Noble, they're really my music go-to spot right now. If you want to find those classic, rare, hard to find albums, go check out your local Barnes & Noble. But guys, I'm going to give Talking Heads Fear Music 5 stars. I hope you go check it out. Be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to my channel if you want. Also, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. Links to those sites in the description box. But guys, I'm Jammin' Music Man. Let's get things started off right here in 2016. Go check out Talking Heads Fear Music. You won't be disappointed, and I'll see you guys next time.